Morning, everyone. Okay. Glenn, every Wednesday, Friday, Monday, SPX levels, of course. We're going to do it. All right. So, NASDAQ futures up almost 90 points, but going nowhere. So, big ranges have become pretty common. So, when we look at the watch list, we look at the chart, and basically, so far, an inside day. Hold on, Aaron. All right, had to save a dog taking a little bite out of somebody. All right. So inside data so far. However, we always look at the intraday charts, and here's the move up into resistance. Right, that's yesterday's high. So we don't buy. Right, if prices move from support up above the resistance there, and you got to respect at least the initial strength of the move up there. Notice the wide range bar here on the hourly chart. Right? So multiple bars up toward resistance. And you have to wonder. I mean, I've always wondered as all the years I'm doing this is why do people get excited and start pouring in to increase demand to a point to create a wide range bar after it's running up for multiple bars into an area of price resistance? It's just human nature to get caught up in the moment and think it's going to keep going. But it indicates historically that momentum is going to stall. And that's exactly what we see happening here. So if it can continue to go choppy sideways here and not break below, well, if it breaks below this level, it can still pop back up, of course. So, what was resistance becomes support, so on and so forth, and see if it can chop around up here and get through that 13,000. But overhead resistance isn't that far away. But for intraday trades, this isn't looking bad. Let's go to the S&Ps. And inside day, it's up a little bit, going nowhere, at resistance. Not too exciting. But, yesterday I spoke about, hey, if this can go sideways for a couple of days up here, that could set up, that move to new all-time highs. So now that we've got 2 days of trading here, a close below this level obviously would be short-term bearish. So, yesterday was a go nowhere day. It was choppy and was whipsaws. You can see the spiders here. This was yesterday's trading. It started lower. It looked like it was going to go up and down, and that end of day move was kind of crazy to say the least, where, we got the sell off, and that's not a bad tick. It came down here, and what it communicates is that there must have been a large amount of buy the dip buyers down here. And what do? Meaning, you want to buy the dip, you place a bid in an area, maybe even a little above it. And if there's too many there, well, and you don't get filled, you have to take the offer. So it certainly looks like that's what occurred yesterday, was that, it dipped down there and then immediately screamed right back up again. And you can see where it had tried to go higher, and you got this, failure, as it popped up and then came back in. Sellers hit the bid, comes down to support, and straight back up again. That's Kind of crazy. Certainly not normal. And whatever those market makers are doing, McGraw, you know, um, to have this kind of trading range and that kind of whip. I mean, historically, we don't see price action like that. So things are a little weird lately. Uh, it is what it is, as we say. All right. So just look at yesterday's range. I mean, look at the cues. Just chop back and forth all day long. And it wasn't fun. Russell, same choppy day. It's that resistance and slopping back and forth, but hey, was able to push deeply into the red bar. So that's a plus. And the transports with the star again, new all-time highs. And looking at the futures, Dow is down here a little bit. No big deal, right? Inside day. Russell futures, no big deal. Up above here, but everything's running in place, waiting for that $2 trillion infrastructure package. More money that they don't have. That I guess they're just going to send Dan the bill, but I'm not paying for any of it, I'll tell you that. Bonds starting to bottom out here a little bit. Two bottoming tail bars. This is what a pattern that we want to buy as a counter trend trade, actually. Bottoming tail bar and then a retest, another bottoming tail bar. It's in an area of support. That's the 30-year. And this one I like even better. It hasn't traded above a prior bar's high, but it broke the low. So a slight new low reversal. Yeah, I think so. TLT, McGraw. I think Dan says this one is the one that has the I don't know, Dan. Does this one have the contango? You said use for options. You said this one isn't good. But look at this. This one didn't come down below the low here. There's another one. LQ something. TBT is worse. There's another one that's like we'll look ETFs, but it might be worth a trade because look, I like those patterns. Got to trade above the high and put a stop a little bit below here. So far it's just another inside day beginning at, pre-market here as we see in, the equity market. So as always, we have the beginning of a trade setup. It is on this support that you can see on the weekly, but it's got to trade above a prior bar's high. Otherwise, we don't do anything. All right. Crude oil down a bit here, flip-flopping around, another market going nowhere. And gold, right? And now it's down at this prior low. So this would be another one. Look, that's one of my favorite trade setups. It's one thing to have support to the left, right? That's one concept, right? Is it an uptrend or a downtrend? What's to the left? Can we get a shock bar pattern, meaning it breaks the low? Let's go back here. Not that one, this one. Right? Where it trades under the low and takes out the stops. The concept there is to remove supply. Right? Those that are long that would sit through this pullback, right, with bigger stop, intelligently share size for that. Stops get hit, they sell. And so the bottoming tail bar, let's expand that a little bit. It's about equal in range. But one of the things that we look for is a bottoming tail bar that is also what we call a range expansion bar. And so what that communicates is a capitulation move. And so it's a little bit of a wider range. Buyers stepped up after the flush, so to speak. And now we need to see if it could perk back up again. We're watching. So gold can trade. Here's the range expansion bar, but if it can trade down below that and pop back up, I'd like that. 2% correction until something happens. As far as you mean, this getting up here. Well, so far it's just consolidating until we were to see a deep pullback. Yes, it should go up into that area. So far it's just chopping sideways. And silver coming down into support. So we'll be seeing if we can get these turns. Beginning of a bottoming type price action there. Look at the hourly chart. Break to new low, range expansion bar, stabilization, takes out the high. So at least it's broken the back of the downtrend on the hourly. So that's the beginning. And so SPX, which I didn't have time this morning to check open interest. What do we want to do here? I'm not so sure. I would just say if there's premium above 4,000, consider that. Down below here, there's nothing. So how far away can you get? Pretty simple. You got a support level there. That's 39.16. You got the 20 MA. Do it for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. 38.65. 38.65 should be a no-brainer. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Me being the good Catholic boy should know. Right? Not. No, I mean, look, when I grew up, I was like, you go into parochial school or, you can stay in your room for the rest of your life. Those brothers and nuns are wackos back then. But down there, 38.65, that should be a no-brainer. Yeah, 80. I mean, look, you got the bottom of this bar, you got a 20 MA, you got a 50 MA. It seems unimaginable that it could go down there. Yeah, anything can happen, but look, just looking at normal type of price action, which is what we have to make decisions on, going down there, what could possibly drive it down there? Biden falling down the steps again and breaking his neck and Kamala taking over? Yeah, that'll probably do it. But we're keeping him off the steps lately. All right, Dan, all yours.
All right, good morning. So we're pretty heavily long and everything's fine. Yesterday into the last 30 minutes, it was crazy market action, and we literally just said we're doing nothing. We just sat there and watched it, sat through some crazy pullbacks here. I mean, this tail is real here. Had a deep retracement and then in a 2-minute bar snap back 80%. It was crazy. So yeah, the news is saying that Biden's going to do his release of, I think the paper said a $2 trillion one as opposed to the full one. He's doing it in two parts, but it's going to start including some tax hikes, which everyone knows is coming. All right, so
Yeah, looks like there he is. He's back.
yeah, sure. You know what, Greg? What this guy ran into last night lives on my street, but down the street, he says, "Oh, did you get a notice that Comcast said they're going to be doing major improvements today?" I said, "No, that'd be really nice if they told me." So he kind of said, "Yeah, you might have some problems today. It's not good." All right, let's continue here. So AMAT we entered yesterday. Beautiful, best looking semi I could find in the whole SMH. Best one. So we entered that yesterday on a beautiful, right here, just beautiful intraday breakout using multiple time frames. Like I said, we did the bear sandwich. Tan was bullish. And you know what? My apologies. I gave us a put spread in this, but I totally thought I gave it as a directional also. And I went when I saw the gap up, I went to tighten the stop and I couldn't see it in the open positions. I'm like, oh no, I thought I gave it. It was tan and I clean. Those two had similar patterns, bottoming the 200 there. You know, that's a quality retest right there. So those two I liked a lot. Let's still keep an eye on them with the Biden stuff going on. But all our opens are fine. If you have a question, just ask me. Um, let's see, a couple questions here on YouTube. TLH, AMTM. I don't know what the heck that is. Is that an interest rate or something or ADR? I don't know, but it possibly is putting up a higher low. Anthem, way too extended for me. Nothing to do with that. You're asking about Tesla. Is there resistance at 650? There's overlapping bars are resistance, but I'm not sure what your question is. We're pattern traders. I see no pattern there to do anything. It's gapping up a little bit. It had strength yesterday. It was the best looking FANG, and my guess only was it was participating in the it's electric, so participating in the eye clean and tan kind of stuff. Grimy AES, yeah, small little reverse heading shoulders, sure, yeah. Couple here I'm watching. Debbie's probably still in bed, but hats off to her. She did a bull call debit spread on earnings. I think she's getting paid for it. Beautiful gap up. This was a pattern yesterday. I said regardless of the earnings, as long as it doesn't gap too big, then I like this. Oh, there's Debbie. Then I liked it as a potential trade today, long or short. But now the gap's actually too big. But yeah, Debbie, good earnings trade there for you. Michael Jackson gapping up. New York's been talking about, and I think they finally passed it, but still no great pattern. We're short the 2250s, but to go core long, I'm still looking for a something something bar. Uh, what's the main read? SPG. Um, Not that it's a direct comparison, but the journal said Price Waterhouse, Goldman, a couple others they're all looking to sublet office space. They have so much, and they said it's like a discount of 25%, but that's actually holding pretty well. Cliff Clavin had earnings, and we typically are not interested in things that have run and then gap up, but I expanded my monthly chart, and what do you see? Look, this is 2015. So I have a 5.5 year bottoming pattern, and it broke out. So I want to keep an eye on this as a core long. We've got to give it a big old stop with today's gap. It should not go under yesterday's low, but for a core, we might even give it a little more, but I'm watching that here. I have it in the bottom right. WBA had earnings. Grimy, we talked about that yesterday. There's no set definition, but to me, it's a holding period of months based on the monthly time frame, right? So here's WBA. That's not a core trade. That's not. You got all this resistance here. But look at Cliff Clavin. I just said it's been bottoming for 5.5 years, right? Look to the left. This we could be in this for 2 years. You see my point? You know, if we're just gonna, it broke out, and if we're just gonna trail pivots, and who knows, maybe the target's $40. But do you see my point? It's the picture tells me how long I think I'll be in it. Let's see, JR, MP, long, short puts, NMP, Tesla, we already talked about blue chip, there's no pattern. I'll look at Apple, Allen, we already talked about MJ, it's perking a little bit, no great pattern. Let me look at MP and keys. No pattern. You know, we're pattern traders. It's lower lows, lower highs, gapping up a little bit, but I mean, you can only trade so much. And I have so many better patterns than this. So even if it works, it doesn't mean anything to me because I'm only focused on the highest probability ones. Keys, now that's better because it broke out and it's a 2-day consolidation. That resistance, I'd like it to go sideways a little bit more, but you could do a put spread under the WRB is fine. Didn't up over earnings yet. CVS not up. So I'm not sure what you're saying, Debbie. CVS is down pre-market, and there's no pattern. This um, Disca versus Disc B. Do you see one or more promising than the other? The B shares really moved yesterday. Okay, so this one, you know, the downside momentum slowed. It had a little topping tail. It's gapping up, so I can tell on my 15-minute chart. It's in the middle of yesterday's range, right? Can't you just see that? Oh, today, folks, we have MT Live is retracements. And I guarantee you it's going to be one of the most enlightening ones. Everyone we do, I think, is A plus. I really do. Or I'll say A. Everyone we do is an A, at least. But today is A plus. People walk away from this subject saying, wow, you have just made that so clear in 1 hour. 1 hour, you're going to rock with education. Disc B, there's no volume. Look at how spotty it is. So I have no idea the difference, but yeah, something was totally different. So you got to look under the hood and see what that was. In terms of weakness, look, hey, Debbie, you know what I'm about to ask you, right? This is a descending triangle. I don't even know how to draw trend lines, but I eyeball them. Look, draw a downtrend line, draw a horizontal line. This is relative weakness. And the weekly is nasty. So this is a beautiful candidate. I'm not doing it with, you know, with the market up and whatever, we gotta wait. But this is a candidate. Uh, so I'm gonna put it in a window or just set an alarm. Uh, I see Jemiah here. This was one I wanted to trigger yesterday and I didn't. IQ, it hasn't made a potent turn yet, Antoli, But these things that they've gotten creamed, they're watches. So we just got to pick the best one once it makes a turn. And as a general rule, when you're trading things that are either climactic up or down, wait for the hourly chart to break its trend. And that is a very good, simple test. CMP, actually, Steve, actually, it's funny you say that. I posted that pre-market to our subscribers. Let me give it to you right here. Oh, I also gave him Charlie Golf. I'm going to be nice to you all today. Oh, my thing just changed to panelist because I lost my internet blurb. So there's no, I know that's why it was in my list. And when I was going through my list pre-market, um, and so here I mentioned this. Let's see, ARC. Um, hey McGraw, yeah, I want to watch. I want to watch. I want to watch Hughes. Hughes for put spread. Boeing here, put spread. So I see a lot of put spread opportunities. Norbert. And Norbert says, "What's a something something bar?" Yeah, it's something that just jumps out at you. So it's a gap reversal. It's a big downside shakeout, a bottoming tail, an upside pro gap. It's something that says I'm ready, and I'm pretty sure he was asking in terms of Michael Jackson. See, it's in a coma. Yes, it's gapping up a little bit, but there's no bar that's jumping out at me of strength. T2, T2 is trying to break out, so 30-minute high. That would be okay. Falarin, Jacopo, CLVS, IBR. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yesterday's bar was kind of a retest, and you have a price void, so that's worth watching, sure. Clovis to me though sounds like a bio, is it? KBH? Yeah, now see, here's a something something bar. Look, something something bar. Negative gap, close the gap, that jumps out at you of bullishness. Now we have a bear sandwich. So that is beautiful. It's at all-time highs. It's at all-time highs with the sector also bullish at all-time highs. So yeah, KBH, and that's Falarian asking about that. Looks fantastic. Jacopo IVR. Wow, spiders, diamonds, IWM are all popping here out of the gate. It still, to me, seems like buy the dip, buy, the bull's still in control. They're still playing the um, what do you call it? Liquidity game. IVR is at the top of the range. You would have to give it kind of a big stop, maybe under this bottoming tail.